Good afternoon, and I'll say thank you and shame on you guys, both for having just one public hearing for these revised rules. I think it is short-sighted to only have the meeting here in Honolulu for the second round of these rules, because in my opinion, these rules are still woefully inadequate to meet the intent of what was passed. Whether I agree with what was passed or not is a whole other animal. I have just provided some copies of written testimony that actually go in and talk to specific sections in your rules that I have concerns about, one of which, again, is going to be public acknowledgement and allowing the voice of the public to be heard. Albeit you have this flow chart, this wonderful looking flow chart, that is not reflected anywhere in your rules. The only required meeting is the one meeting that you have in section 13.302 32. The one thing that was interesting is I've been listening to a lot of people this morning, and while I agree with a lot of what has been stated, and you'll see that in my written testimony, I did just a quick search for my own edification this morning to make sure I was not missing anything that I thought might be important, because my largest concern the last time I spoke before you is the rules prior to this version, and even this version, does not adequately reflect what you may or may not do. Again, as you've heard, there are concerns regarding what you may or may not allow to occur in conservation lands, what you may or may not allow to occur within agricultural lands. And I think this is indicative of the fact that your rules are inadequate as per the bill as it was passed. And I will reflect on page 15, which was in the Senate Bill 1555, and it states, the corporation shall prepare the Hawaii Public Land Optimization Plan, which shall define and establish goals, objectives, policies, and priority guidelines for its public land optimization development strategy. And then it goes on to list what the plan will include. Well, interestingly enough, you do not even address in your rules that you are even going to put a plan together. And for most organizations, when something like that is in the statute, that becomes part of your rules. There should be rules as to how you're going to develop this optimization plan, how the public is going to be able to input, and exactly what's going to be in there. I think if you had even acknowledged this and stated that within that optimization public land plan, that you would address all of the issues that have been coming up every time I've been to a hearing here, there would be a lot less consternation regarding what you guys are planning on doing and how far you plan on going with this, let's go develop everything within that can produce revenues so that we can go take care of whatever conservation land is left. If you have 100 acres of conservation land and develop 75 to go produce money to go take care of the other 25, I don't call that plan an optimization plan. And neither do I believe that that was the intent of the PLDC with how it was formulated. So I would really, and it's that piece, by the way, is not in my testimony because it was something that I just skimmed through the bill again. But I think that you owe it to the public to be able to address that section of the law in your rules, because that is what a lot of us have been stating. You have not illuminated for us how far you're going to go with taking the public lands and developing them to the detriment, potentially, of why they are public lands today and why they are protected. And that, I think, is a major fallacy of your rules as they are currently written, And I really would recommend that before you take these rules, even this second draft, and say, yes, we're gonna go with it, that you really, really consider going back, looking at the law as it's written, and if nothing else, adding this entire piece back into your rules. Because right now, you have nothing but a major uphill battle ahead of you with the way the rules are written, much less the way the law is structured. Right now, you have not allayed any fears from the public of what the potential of this unfettered development could potentially bring forward on the state and our public lands, and what people truly hold in their heart as what this state is all about. So my recommendation is, I don't think due diligence has necessarily been complete in drafting these rules, and I think you need to go back, review Act 55, and write rules that reflect everything that's in this act, and not just, here's the technical aspects and how we're going to work with the developer versus this guy or that guy, or, you know, we're gonna go to the title agency after a planner or developer has come to us with a concept. The title agency should be gone to before it ever comes to you, in my mind. But I think this, after reading this again today, is really critical. And this is nowhere to be found in your rules. And I think it's really critical. Thank you.